So it's early morning and we're out on the bank. We're targeting Tench. It's early spring, and yeah, we're hoping that we can get a few on the flatbed feeders. Let's just say it's been a bit of a strange start to the session. Looks almost like a chub. It is a chub. What are you doing in here? So a bit of a strange start. Yeah, a chub. So yeah, a chub. I then went on to drop a couple of fish that I think were smaller as well, but you know, a bit of patience, kept putting the feeder in, and the tench started coming. This feels like it could be a tench. I was just about to recast that as well. Hopefully it's our first tench of the morning, and it is. There we go. Here he comes. Just a baby, but he will definitely do. So after a strange start, we have got the first tench of the morning. Hopefully more to come. Little band and wafter on a flatbed feeder. So there we are, we're off and running. Yeah, the little flatbed feeders and the wafters, I was worried. I got an 8mm wafter on. I wondered whether the nuisance fish were gonna make me sort of push up to a 10mm one, or maybe double, you know, double pellet, like the pellet O's, 2 of those on the hair. But no, the tench hopefully will come in now. It's a start. It wasn't a monster, but it's a start. We go, another one. So that's 2 in very quick succession. Again, not a huge fish, but yeah, happy to be getting bites, happy to be out here fishing for tench again, and yeah, the flatbed feeders doing what they always do, catching lots of fish. This action is quite furious now. There we go. So they're coming thick and fast now. There's another one. Again, not a monster, but amazing sport this morning. Oh, my first sort of proper tench session out of the year. If they keep coming this regular, I'm sure a bigger one's going to come along. I should say that I'm fishing quite hard up against an island. This little lake, it's got a thin island that runs up the middle of it, and yeah, I'm fishing my rod hard up against that. I mean, it's an obvious feature, isn't it? They're going to patrol around that, and using the clip, I can make sure I'm fishing nice and tight to that island without losing any tackle or anything like that. And certainly, it's doing all right, and it's producing a few fish. And yeah, I've had five fish now, and yeah, this one's a little bit nicer. I was hoping a better one would come along, and there we are. Yeah, very pleased with him. Had a couple of little ones. Now this one that's a bit better. In terms of how I'm fishing, it is just a flatbed feeder. That's all it is. You know, I've got what's called a turbo bead there that's holding my rig. The rig's about 4 inches long. You know, a nice small but strong hook and a band and wafter. In terms of bait application and what I'm actually putting on the feeder, I'm going to take you through that now. Here's my mix that I'm putting on the feeder. Very, very simple, as always. My ever faithful krill and squid ground bait was the first thing to go in. Then I put some 2mm feed pellets in there, and that was it really. I put some water in when I very first got here, sort of almost over soaked it slightly to allow for it to sort of like soak it all up. Added a little bit more water. It was then almost perfect. Pushed it through a riddle that I've got in my bucket, and that's made it really nice and fluffy and perfect to go on the feeder. What I did when I first got here, I loosely packed it onto the flatbed feeder and did 5 casts straight away without even leaving it in the water, without even fishing, just to get a little bit of bait out there. On the 6th cast, I left it where it was, and yeah, the action then just started coming fairly thick and fast. Little flatbed feeder and abandoned wafters doing the business, and they keep coming. There we are, tiny little abandoned wafter and a lovely, lovely tench. One thing that's important, of course, when you're feeder fishing is to consistently hit the same spot. You know, I'm recasting the rods every sort of like, well, initially it was every 5 minutes. I've now slowed it down to 10 minutes. Now I'm at about 15 minutes. But to be honest, more often than not, the rod's gone. So yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. But what I was saying is that, you know, yes, it's important to, you know, we all know this with feeder fishing, it's important to hit that same spot. In order to do that, I just use the clip on the rod and consistently hit that same spot, building up the swim and hopefully getting more and more bites. When I say I'm using the clip, obviously some people use the wrapping stick, stuff like that. Here, I've got a fence and I can literally just plop the feeder down on one post, walk down the fence, and then go. I've sort of acknowledged in my own mind what post I need to stop at and put it in the clip. So I'm literally using a couple of markers that are on the bank just to make sure that you know, when I am casting out into the lake and using the clip, I am hitting the same spot. Look at that. You see that? That is why, if you think you should have had a bite and you haven't had a bite, that's why you bring it in. There we go. Yeah, another one. Only a baby. Go on. Absolutely glorious in the sunshine. They are coming thick and fast. So it is actually feeling quite spring-like now. The jacket's off, the sun's come out, and the tench just keep coming. We're into double figures now, so amazing sport, it really is. Literally one after the other. The sun's come out and we're still catching them. That is over a dozen fish now, definitely. So we're approaching mid-afternoon, and as you can see, it's really quite bright now. It actually is feeling a bit like spring, but it has affected the fishing. It has slowed down a bit, and so I think I'm probably going to call it a day there. I know that the rain is coming later on, so we're not going to be able to film in that dusk period, so I'm probably going to call it a day there. But we've ended on about a dozen tench, which has been fantastic sport, and yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic.